YouTube. In this tutorial, I will tell you everything you need to know about a multimeter. As you can see, there are many different shapes and sizes of multimeters. The first thing you'll want to know how to do is plug in the cables correctly. The black cable, no matter which multimeter you're using, always goes into the common or ground plug on your multimeter. And even on this multimeter, you always plug it into the one labeled common. And with your red wire, to measure different things, you'll need to plug cables into the different holes. The first thing you'll want to measure is voltage, and it's fairly simple. Just plug the black wire into the common plug, and get your red wire and plug it into the jack labeled volts. And then we can measure the voltage. Just spin the dial to the volts, then get the two probes, and let's measure the voltage of a diesel battery. So we're going to get one probe, and we want to put the red probe on the positive and the red probe on the positive, and the black probe on the negative. So let's do that. We're just going to touch them, and the voltmeter says let's hit, and some have hold. So now I can see the voltage is 1.3 volts, which is fairly good. And I'll show you the process for using a manual range meter. So here's a manual range meter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the red wire, plug into the jack labeled volts, same as before. Then on the dial, we're going to turn this to the right setting, because it says DC volts, and on this we turn this to 20 because our voltage is closest to 20 volts. So now, and we have to do it the next voltage up, so that's why I had to set it to 20. So here it says 1.3 volts, and that's the same reading we got on the auto ranging meter. So that's how you measure volts with a multimeter. So the next thing you might want to measure is amps. So let's say I want to see how much power consumption this light draws. First thing we need to do is get the multimeter. And a lot of multimeters have a different jack for amps. What you want to do first is move the probe to the amps jack. Set it on the amps dial, and the thing you want to do when you're doing this is you want to splice in the multimeter with the load in series. So here's the battery lead. This will go onto the right onto the multimeter's positive probe. Black lead will go onto this, and you have to splice it in series. So now the light lights up, of course, and we can see that this light draws 0.036 amps. Now, if I want a more precise reading, I can move this probe to the milliamps jack, and now I can see that it's drawing 35.20, about 20 milliamps, and it seems to be dropping a bit. Now, that's how you measure amps with the auto ranging meter. Now we're going to use a non-auto ranging meter, and this one can measure milliamps only, but we're under the maximum. So what we need to do is get the red wire and connect the black wire the same way we did before, and then we want to turn it to the meter to amps, to the closest setting, so we can see that it's drawing 36 amps on this meter, and that's how much this light's drawing. So that's how you measure amps on a auto ranging and manual ranging multimeter. The next thing you'll want to know how to measure is resistance. So turn your multimeter onto the resistance setting, the one that looks like a horseshoe. So turn it to that, and now you get your resistor, or whatever you want to measure, and you'll just touch the contact on the resistor, and you can just set them right there and look at the screen of the multimeter, and it says it's about 9.82 kiloohms. So, and then for the manual range multimeter, you'll turn it to resistance, what it's closest to, and then you'll touch the leads, and it says it is 9.8, which now it's ranging still. Yeah, it says 9.8. I'm not sure exactly how accurate it is, but and now and that's how you measure resistance. Now we're going to measure continuity. It's very easy. Just go to the multimeter and set the dial to the continuity if you have a continuity setting. And then when there's continuity, and what continuity is when 2 points are that's zero resistance, it will beep. So like these metal coins, for example, if I touch the probes to the metal coins, then it will beep because they're so. And let's try this coin, this coin. Now let's make a row with all 3 coins all touching each other, and we'll get continuity. This is great for when you're checking cable, making sure a cable actually works, because you just touch one, so what you do is you get one probe, touch it here, one probe, touch it here, and if the cable works, then it will beep. Yep, and it works, so it's beeping. Now, this is also good for testing short circuits. If it doesn't beep, it's good. If it beeps, then it's bad. But right now we're just testing if the cable's good, and if it beeps, it's good. So now we'll go down to the last connection, and I kind of have to hold the probes with one hand so I can hold the camera. But there, now. And that's how you measure continuity on a auto ranging meter. Now we'll do it with a manual ranging meter. So most likely you won't have a continuity setting. So you spin the dial to the lowest resistance you can get, the lowest resistance setting. Then you get the two probes, and if you touch the coins, it will say very, very close to 0, and then that means that the continuity is good. So, and then it won't beep, but it will say 0, and that's good. That means that there's continuity. So now we'll do it with the cable. We have the two cable ends, and what I'll do is touch the two probes to the cable end, and if the cable's good, it will say 0. It will say 0. So, and it's just there. It kind of blinked. It's kind of hard to hold the camera also. But there. It says like either 0 or a very low resistance value. Then that means your cable's good. So that's how you measure continuity with a manual ranging meter. So I hope you learned a lot about multimeters today and all the basic functions. And if you enjoyed this video, please comment, rate, and subscribe.